Hi, everybody. Welcome to Management Monday. Let's see if people stream in here. It's that awkward time between when you start a live and when people show up. It's always weird. So we'll sit here for a minute. La 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 la. I feel awkward just sitting here and talking to myself. I should really put like a disclaimer on these lives that say, to get to the actual live, put a timestamp for when the live actually starts. So you don't have to listen to me sitting here rambling to myself while I wait for people to stream in because it's just weird. Plus, it depends on when YouTube sent out the notification. That's been running slow too. So I will sit here and talk to myself until I know there are people in the room. And my counter isn't budging. So if you're in here, say hi or something so that I know that I'm no longer talking to myself and I can actually talk to people. Anybody? Hello? Hi, VJ. Square raid? Cool. I just realized what a mess my background is still right now. I'm still in the middle of sorting and rearranging and pulling, and it's just a mess in this room right now. So please excuse the mess in my background, which is kind of ironic considering most of all the topics I'm talking about on Monday. I'll have to figure it out. Hi, Chris. You were sharing me out. There's a delay. There's always a delay. I always sit here for the first I don't know 2 or 3 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes before I can actually see that there are people in here. Like my counter just updated that there's like 3 people here. So I have no idea. Check. I'm going to assume you can hear me. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, what am I doing behind me? I'm rearranging everything that's back here. Like there's behind my chair is a shelf, and it has all most of my yarns on it. But we're going to be doing some work in this room, so I've been putting all of my yarn in these crates, like the clear ones you see behind me. So what you're seeing is part of my yarn has been crated up, part of it's not, and it's behind me, and then to the side Well, one of those baskets is actually my laundry because on the other side of this is the washer and dryer. So it's just a crazy mess of stuff that I'm trying to go through, and it's taking forever, and and I have so much yarn. That's why I'm definitely doing a no buy for the foreseeable future because I can shop my own stash. Oh, I can probably shop my own stash most of this year and only buy if like I happen to get a commission and need specific yarn. It's a little crazy. Chris, you did an email purge and you think you did an oopsie? Okay, so the topic for this week is time management, which is completely and totally ironic considering I just had this conversation about the mess behind me and how, like, I, I keep procrastinating on finishing it, which goes directly against time management, but it's just so much yarn. There's so much back there. And I'm trying to sort it all and figure out if I want to do another D-stash or keep it or what have you. But anyway, this week we are talking about time management. And I have this is going to be like an hour long live. At least that's not my plan. You guys may make it longer. It's up to you. But I have like 5 tips for time management, and I figure I would just go over those because most of us, especially if we're crafty and we do commissions or we sell patterns, stuff like that, we have that business going, but then we have the rest of our lives to contend with too. Like, we have grandkids we watch, we have family we spend time with, we have friends we want to see. We like to eat, like to sleep. Every once in a while, we like to do something that's not related to work. And some of us actually have work outside of our craft business. And some of us, like me, also go to school. So it's kind of important to be able to manage your time so that when you have all these balls in the air, they don't all come crashing down on your head. And as someone who's had that happen more than once, I 0 out of 10 do not recommend. So these are the things that I have put in place that have helped me juggle having the craft business, going to school, chasing around a grandkid, spending time with my family, and actually hanging out with my friends. And then, like, periodically doing other things that I like to do that aren't craft or family related, like eat and sleep. So, anyway, number one, I am the biggest list maker you will ever meet. I have a list. Okay, I have several lists. I have my year list, which is a list of things that I want to accomplish in a year. I then have that list that's broken down into monthly lists, which are things I want to do each month. And the monthly lists for my business anyway tend to kind of be holiday themed because I like to put out patterns or do commission work that are based on a holiday. So January not so much because I'm burned out from all the holiday stuff I did. So like February I'm looking at Valentine's Day, March St. Patrick's Day, April we're into Easter, spring, June we're still and Mother's Day in May, and then June of course you have Father's Day and graduations and summer, and then July the holiday and summer, August the summer and back to school, September we're into fall and stuff like that. So you get the point. So my monthly to do lists tend to um, reflect the holiday. Now when I'm crafting for them, I tend to be a month behind. Like for instance, stuff that I want to market in May for Mother's Day, I'm obviously making now and in April. But anyway, I'm just saying that that's what my monthly to do lists look like. And then I have a weekly to do list, and then I have a daily to do list. My weekly list is basically just the stuff that I want to do that week during of that was on my monthly list. Yeah, I really don't think you need me to like into that much detail on how to set up a to do list. Just make it specific. And my year to do list, it's like simple. It's basically simple sentence. It's basically simple sentences. Like I want to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And then my monthly to do list might be keeping with the subscriber theme. I want to gain 100 subscribers. And then my weekly to do list might be I want to gain 10 subscribers. It just, just take a large overall thought and just break it down for each list. Now, when it comes to the weekly, obviously you're not going to be working on all of your monthly in one week. So just pick and choose which ones you want to work on. But just make sure that you are fitting everything that you want to accomplish in that month on at least one weekly list. Because otherwise, you're not going to accomplish them if you're not including them. My daily lists are literally just things I want to do that day, things I want to accomplish that day. Like say I want to publish 100 patterns in a year. So, if there's 52 weeks in a year, that means I have to publish 2 a week, which is pretty unrealistic. But anyway, somewhere in that week, I'm going to be writing a pattern or uploading a pattern or something pattern based is going to go on that week. So just make your big goal list and break it down. And as you break it down, get more and more specific. So my daily list for a pattern might be I'm uploading this pattern to Etsy or Ravelry or Ko-fi or whatever. So yeah, I am a big list person. I highly suggest you make lists if you don't, because it's also a good way to track your progress, because you can look back on your daily, your weekly, your monthly lists and see how they're leading to the progression of what your yearly list is. So it's a good way to just keep track of your goals and see whether you're still on track or not, and if you need to adjust things. I mean, you may finish some goals quicker than others, and if you finish that goal, then you can scratch it off, and that gives you more time to work on another goal. But if you're not tracking them, you have no way of knowing that. So, to-do lists, make them. I mean, and I don't get techy. I don't really get all techie with it. I literally have a notebook and pen, and I keep my lists in a notebook. There's digital software you can use. You can use Google not Maps, Google Calendar, um, iCal. Use whatever you want to make your list. Just make them and keep track of them. So that's number one. Number two. Okay, so you've made your to-do lists. Now you have to figure out how you're going to find the time and the energy and the desire. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups to complete them. Well, for me, that's where the Pomodoro method comes in. Now, a brief overview of the Pomodoro method. It's you take a list of things you need to accomplish and you pick one thing on that list. You then set a timer for 25 minutes. You work on that task for 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. Then you go back to the task and you work on it for 25 minutes more. Then you take another 5-minute break, and then you do that 2 more times. Now, on the 4th time that you've done 25 minutes, you take a 30-minute break. At that point, if you're staying true to the method, you can stay on that task or you can move to a next task. Now, I have tweaked that method a little bit because I'm even more squirrely than a lot of people. And I can do a task for maybe 1 or 2 rounds, and then I need to move on to something else. So I will normally do like 2 rounds of like the first thing on my task list, and then 2 rounds on my second, 2 rounds on my third, and just keep going. And I just cycle through until I've completed all of my tasks. Or I've decided that I've done as much as I'm going to do for the day and I quit. Even on those days when I don't feel like doing everything on my list or I get tired easily, I still accomplish way more than if I just left myself to my own devices and got distracted and was doing everything but what I needed to do. So you can follow the regular Pomodoro method or you can tweak it to suit you. For instance, I don't do 25 minutes with a 5 minute break. I do 30 minutes with a 3 minute break. Um, I can hold my attention for on something that I'm working on for 30 minutes. Some people can do 25. Some people can only do 15 or 20. You just have to figure out which time frame works best for you and adjust accordingly. Some people may need a 10-minute break between their tasks. Some people, you should take a break of some sort. Don't just hit the timer again and keep going. You need to take a break because you need to reset your brain. So if you only want to take a minute, then okay. But normally I do 3 to 5, just depending on what the task is. If it's something torturous, I'll do the 5 minutes because that means I don't want to do this and I really need that 5 minutes to work myself back up to being able to work on it some more. That doesn't happen as much now because I'm basically doing craft work and I don't mind doing craft work. But when I was still doing some of the more dry writing that I was doing, that was torture, and I would definitely take those 5 minutes and sit with my head on the desk going, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. It was bad. But basically, you just need to figure out how long you work on something without getting distracted and losing your attention, and use that as what your timer setting. Um, and then take a break between, and do that in as many cycles as you need to complete the task that you need to complete. Now, your to do list, if you're like me, you get a little ambitious and you end up with 20 different things on your to do list. I'll talk more about this in a minute, but try to be a little more realistic about what you think you're going to be able to accomplish in one day, even if you put 20 things on that list. But just work for the amount of time that you can work and not get distracted. Take a break and just wash, rinse, repeat until you've worked through your list. Number 3, when you're switching between projects, this is if you're doing vastly different things. Like, let's say, in my case, I might be working on a class assignment. I may have, when I was still writing, a client paper I was working on, or not paper, a client article, web page, what have you, I was working on. And then I might have a crochet project I'm working on. Or you may have 2 or 3 different craft projects you're working on. When you're done working on that particular craft, put it away. Put everything away. All of it. Put the yarn away, put whatever notions you were using with it away. Get yourself down to a clean slate so that when you start your next task, you're not distracted by the one you were working on prior or the one you're going to work on next. That is one of my biggest time sucks. I'm when I'm working on A, I'm thinking about B if B is still sitting on my desk. If I'm working on B, I may be preoccupied by C if C is still working on my desk. So if I need to work on A and the only thing that's on my desk is A, I'll concentrate on A. And then when I'm done working on A, I put everything related to A away. Then I pull out whatever I'm working on next, let's say B, and I bring out B, and then I work on B. And then when it's time to stop working on B and move on to something else, I put everything away from B, and I bring out C or A or whatever it is I'm working on. Yeah, whatever it is you're working on, it should be the only thing sitting in front of you. Because if it's the only thing sitting in front of you, it's the only thing you're really going to think about. Now, you may have a fleeting thought about another project you're working on. That happens to me all the time. But if it's not sitting directly in front of me, I'm more likely to kind of dismiss the thought and go, I'll think about that later, or drop down a note to remind myself to do something with that later, and go back to the task I'm working on at hand. Number 4, um, include things that help you concentrate. Now, this varies from person to person. Some people need to work in complete silence. Other people need something in the background. Um, I am definitely a person who needs something in the background, unless I don't. And let me explain. Um, if I'm crocheting, I normally have some sort of music or an audiobook on. If it's music, it's going to be something fast tempo, not necessarily upbeat, but fast tempo. Like I'm really into rock and metal just from my youth. So, I'm probably listening to Metallica or Disturbed or Five Finger Death Punch or um those are the ones that come into my System of a Down, something like it's got to be like fast and like kind of thumpy. It keeps me it keeps me with the rhythm of my crochet. If I'm doing some other craft, I normally don't listen to rock and metal because it's too, pounding. So I'll listen to like things like classical or Broadway musicals or I don't know, stuff like, or maybe if I do, maybe I will do rock, but it'd be like slow power ballads or something like that. If I'm let's say writing or working on a paper, that's normally going to be a video of some sort in the background, uh, preferably of something I've seen a million times, so I don't have to look at the screen. I could just work and just listen to it. I can't listen to music and write because I'm singing along to the lyrics. And when you're trying to write, when you're singing something else, they just don't play well together. If I'm researching, I can listen to music though. Um, what's I going to say? What was I going to say? I love when I do this. Wait a minute. I'm leaving my notes. I wrote a note here and I can't see what it says. Music. Okay, now I guess I said everything I wanted to say about this. Yeah. Like I said, but you may need more than one kind of background noise. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Sometimes if I'm trying to figure something out, I won't have anything playing in the background. It's very few times that I work in silence, but sometimes I do. If especially if it's something I'm learning how to do for the first time, like if I have to like keep specific counts for a pattern, I might not have anything playing in the background, so that I'm solely focused on those counts. But other than that, normally if I'm crafting, like crocheting, it's rock. If I'm crafting on any other thing, could be rock, could be show tunes, it could be classical music. If I'm writing, I tend to choose videos. I couldn't get that out, so I might be watching Netflix or watching YouTube videos, stuff like that. So just find the stuff that helps you keep moving forward and just use it. And like I said, it could be more than one thing. It could be music and videos. You know, it could be you can open up your window and let's say you got some noisy birds out there and they help you concentrate. Open up your window, listen to the noisy birds. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is that works for you, do it. It'll help you stay on task, and staying on task helps with time management. And the fifth and final thing I want to talk about: give yourself some breaks. And I'm not being just like with the Pomodoro method where like you take 5 minutes between every 25 minutes or whatever. I mean literal breaks. Like, go to lunch. Take a lunch break. Um, that could be a daily. If you've ever worked retail, you get the 30-minute lunch and the two 15-minute breaks. Do that. Give yourself an hour for lunch. You're the boss. Who cares? Um, Weekly, do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not work 7 full days a week. Take at least one day off that is not work related. Even if your craft and your hobbies are the same and you still want to work on that, like for instance, crocheting, make sure that whatever it is you're working on crochet wise is something that's for you or for fun. Don't make it work, because once this really starts to become like work, it starts to feel like drudgery. You're not going to want to do it, and you're going to sabotage yourself. So yes, you need to take a break. So yeah, you need to like do a lunch break and a couple of breaks during the day. You need to take at least one day off a week. You need to take some sort of a vacation, whether you go somewhere, it's a staycation, and you just kick it on your porch or your patio or your deck, what have you, or your couch. Who cares? You need to recharge your brain. You may not feel like it, but your brain is like, yeah, we need to like take some time off before we check out completely. So yeah, take daily breaks. Take at least one day off a week. Take a week's vacation. You will thank yourself later when you can still function like a year or 2 years, 3 years down the line, and you haven't burned out. Because if you burn out, you're done. Can you come back from being burned out? Sure. But most people, once they hit that point, once they hit that wall, they generally don't come back. They're just done. And you don't want that to happen to something that you love. So, those are my 5 tips. So, let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and put them in the discussion box. And let me see who's come in since I stopped. Hi, Ivy. And hi, Catherine. Welcome, welcome. And Chris is saying the English major in me needs to remind everyone that you write essays while you do other stuff with paper. Well, I'm an English major too, so that's what my original degree is. My undergrad's in English. So I think I can relate to what you're saying, because I have an undergrad in English and business administration. I have one master's in adult education, and the second master's will be in legal studies. So yeah, I'm all about the papers. I'm all about the writing. All about it. So, anybody have any questions? Let me have them, because that was pretty much what I wanted to go over today. Those 5 things. Um, you know, keep lists. Pick a timing method that works for you. I'm a fan of Pomodoro. Only have the task you're working on in front of you. Um, Add whatever you need to add that helps you stay motivated to concentrate, whether it's music, videos, book on tape, or whatever, audio books, I guess is what I'm supposed to say, and take breaks. Those are the 5 things. Chris wants to know if I sent her a tracking number. I don't think I did. I'd have to look. I don't remember. I'm assuming that she's asking me about a tracking number she hasn't gotten the hooks yet, because I'll have to look on my end then. Catherine is saying hubby is watching a show about penguins. I have lots of questions about penguins. Look, I really can't help you with that. Not quite my area of expertise. Um, I know there's, I want to say there's cold weather and warm weather penguins. None of them fly, and they all wear tuxedos. That's about all I can tell you about a penguin. So, Chris, good job on schooling. You mean all of the education I have, or do you mean my chat today? Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, then we can go ahead and wrap this up. My Monday videos aren't really supposed to be like long, hour long videos. I just want to give you some tips and keep it pushing. I just found it easier to do it live than to try to find time to film, which is a challenge around here, aka almost impossible. So now that I have presented my information to you, I'll just say that thanks for being here. I'm trying to wait a little longer to see if any questions come up because I know I've got a lag. Which method do I keep saying? The Pomodoro. Pomodoro. It's named after the tomato, which Pomodoro is tomato in Italian, I believe. And the person who created the method, whose name is escaping me at the moment, I want to say I starts with like Cirilli. I guess I could look it up. Anyway, he was using a timer in order to help him stay on track, and the timer happened to look like a tomato, and he's Italian, so it looked like a pomodoro. Therefore, he named the method the Pomodoro method. Let me see, what was his name? Cirillo, Francesco Cirillo. It was developed in the 1980s. So yes, the Pomodoro method. 25 minutes working, 5-minute breaks, and you do that 3 times, and then on the fourth 20 after the fourth cycle of 25 minutes, you take a 30-minute break, and then you start to cycle over again with the 25-minute working, 5-minute break, and you just do that for each task. So, any other questions? Because if not, I'm going to go because I can hear the argument starting about what we should have for dinner. And I have no idea what that's going to be. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I want to thank you guys for being here. You could have been anywhere for this last half hour, but you chose to be here, so that's cool, and I appreciate it more than you'll know. I go live on Mondays at 6 Eastern to do Management Monday. But I also have my regular live, which is Wednesdays at 9 p.m., where we talk about all things craft, crochet, you name it, we talk about it. I do have a topic for this week, and you should have received your notification for it already. It's basically we're going to talk about stuff that the rules that we keep and the rules that we break when it comes to crochet and crafting. That's what I'm going to say. So just think about those rules that you follow and the rules that you don't follow, and we'll talk about those on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then you'll find me in lives and chats all over the Yarny community. So I'm sure I will see you around somewhere. I do some regular videos, but it's hard to find time to film anything. So they're hit or miss, which is why Management Monday just became a live instead of videos. Because, like I said, finding time to shoot videos in my current living situation is pretty tough. Lots of people running in and out, and you've got a loud rugrat and dogs. So anyway, so I will see you around somewhere, I'm sure. And if I don't see you between now and Wednesday, I will see you Wednesday at 9. And if I don't see you Wednesday at 9, then I'll see you someplace else or back here for this next week. So thanks for being here. And I'll see. Listen, my side is distracted up. It's definitely time for me to go. So I will see you, well, when I see you, I guess. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Bye. Oh, like it and please hit the like button. And if you aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. But I think all of y'all are subscribed. But if you're not and you think you might like to be, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I am planning on doing a giveaway when I hit 500 subscribers. And with that, I'm done for real now. Bye.